it is not just about superiority, about skin color, because that is a small minority of really dumb prejudiced people, and not all prejudiced people just say, "Oh, you have different skin color, I'm better than you." It goes far beyond that, and you don't really understand how it comes from. I mean, a perfect example is that Asian Indians have the same skin color as blacks, and yet are more successful, educated, wealthy, and commit less crimes than white middle-class Americans. Despite coming from a third world country and having the same skin color as blacks, they are not only are all Asians richer, wealthier, commit less crimes, and more successful and educated than middle-class whites, but actually Asian Indians who have the darkest skin, or the same color as blacks in America, are in fact the most successful, or at least one of the most successful of all Asians in America, which really shows that the skin color really does not have much to do with it. And I don't have a problem with Asian Indians. I get along with Asian Indians quite well. I don't really look down on Asians. "Oh, you have dark skin color, I don't like you." It's not about skin color, at least not in my opinion. I mean, it's about the actions. As long as half the murders in America are committed by 1/9 of the population, which is the black population, I mean, people are going to say, "What the fuck is going on?" I mean, just look at rap. I mean, it is not about the skin color. It is about the action of blacks. And I mean, the Asian Indians are the same skin color, and they've become one of the richest groups of all Americans right now. And obviously that racism has not made them violent, stupid, and poor, because, like I said, they are beyond the status of whites. So, I mean, there are very real genetic differences, and I'm not going to lie to myself. I mean, I'll give you an example. Males commit more crimes than females. Is that sexist? No. I am a male, and I will fucking admit that. And it's the truth. Therefore, it's not sexism. Do blacks commit more crimes than whites? And any other group? Yes, it is a true fact. It's not propaganda, it's a fact. And it is the truth. So therefore, it is not prejudice, because it is a true fact. I'm sorry that sometimes facts don't go the way people wish, and people don't like the way the facts are going, then perhaps they should do something to change the embarrassment of the fact in the first place. Instead of just saying everything that looks bad about blacks is just white propaganda and ignoring any kind of problem to begin with. Because that's what I see much of the black population doing. And it's not even about that. I mean, I find some respectable blacks, and I don't have a problem with every black, but there's a large majority who I can't stand. I mean, I cannot stand. I mean, like, I hate. I mean, there is a good 60 to 80% of blacks who I cannot stand. And then there's about a 3% whom I may kind of respect. And I mean, I'm sorry, and it's not even about skin color. It's about the actions. It's about the arrogance I see blacks have, the over ego, the stubbornness to not even listen to other people. Black people generally don't listen to anything anyone else ever says. They pretty much just, I've dealt with them in college. If a professor says something intelligent, they just ignore it and just have their own stupid opinions and never even think twice about what people state, because, I mean, and in general, they just piss me off. Their culture pisses me off. Their violent tendencies piss me off. Their overly social, but overly negative social interactions piss me off. I mean, the way they act pisses me off, and I'm sorry, but I mean, I do not by nature get along with the majority of black people, which a lot of races really don't, and that's why there is so much prejudice, because when people look around and they see, I mean, black people are the only race I see going around blaming white people for all their problems. I mean, the Irish are fucked over, the Italians were, the Jews, the Asians, even the Mexicans, and to be honest, I never see any of those groups blame every single problem on the whites. I pretty much see them say, "Oh, I failed at life because I didn't work hard enough or try hard enough, or things happen." But black people generally would just blame like everything. It's like, "Oh, the Bloods and the Crips, that's because of white people." And it's just like that kind of fucking attitude. Black people can't even admit they're ever wrong, or they do things wrong. They can't admit that they fucking have not tried in life or tried to get ahead. They just like to look for scapegoats. And I mean, it's not all, but the general population really pisses me off, and I can't stand the general population of blacks. And I shouldn't be given a right to just automatically love every person on this earth. I mean, there's some black people I'm willing to care for and be friends with. The majority of the population, I just find repulsive, and I can't stand it. And there's very real genetic differences. I mean, look at the Japanese, put it in internment camps. And yet they're one of the most successful groups in America. Do you see them walking around, grabbing their crotches, wearing bandanas, going, yo, I joined gang and kill people and sell drugs because people put me in internment camps. And you don't see them doing that kind of thing. You pretty much see Japanese blame themselves more than anyone. And you pretty much see the poor Japanese kids say, I got an A- at Harvard. I have put shame to my family. I mean, there's a real racial difference of genetics there, and it's the truth. I mean, Asians have really put hard on themselves, where blacks are not hard enough on themselves. And it's just every spectrum is the opposite. Asians, not only in America but worldwide, have lower crime rates and lower violent crime rates than Europe and white countries, who in turn have lower violent crime rates than Africa. And it's a very real genetic difference, and it's not racism, it is a fact. I mean, Burma is one of the poorest countries in the world. It's poorer than most of Africa. It's in Asia. It has the lowest murder rate in the world. Its murder rate is about something like 30 times lower than America. 30 times. Which means that you would have to increase it 30 times the amount to get the same murder rate as America. Even though Americans make about 80 times more wealth than Burma. Which is just disgusting, and it shows the real genetic differences. I mean, there's differences in IQs all across. I mean, North Korea has an IQ 0.8 points higher than America, even though they're in terrible poverty and war and communism. But yet, they still have higher IQs than Americans, which does not make sense, except for that there are really differences in genetics. And it goes down to natural selection. In the mountains, in the Nordic cold, and the glacier environments, people had to be intelligent, they had to be determined, they had to work together to get... And, I mean, people could not be hostile and not be unintelligent and be stupid. And those ones were the ones that got died out during the Ice Age. When in Africa, it was a different natural selection. You had a jungle environment, so paranoia, constant awareness, overly hostile, overly aggressive was the natural selection of the Africans, and overall it is more prevalent in the darker skinned people just because of the jungle environment. Because it is a very true fact that in the jungle you can't be overly intelligent because you overly state your opinion and be killed by whatever's trying to eat you. So impulsivity and violence and hostility was the natural selection. It just does not work in our society. And I'm sorry if I offend people and people think I'm racist, but these are true facts. There's no denying that in Africa there are borderline retarded IQs and retarded IQs all across Africa. 60 IQs in Africa, 106 IQ in North Korea. North Korea is poorer than many of the countries in Africa, and yet has an IQ nearly twice the amount. And I'm sorry, but it's genetic, and if you can't take the truth, then perhaps you should go live in your head like you are already doing.